strongly condemned the continuing acts of violence against individuals based on religion or belief, including those belonging to religious minorities. The U.S. Embassy was joined by those of Austria, Canada, the Netherlands, Norway, Switzerland, and the U.K. This is SRN News. The nation's job market last month delivered just what the Federal Reserve and nervous investors had hoped for, a Goldilocks-style hiring report. Job growth was solid, but not too hot and not too cold. More Americans began looking for work, which could ease worker shortages over time and view some of the inflationary pressures the Fed has made its number one mission to stop. Amazon says it's being proactive, even though others describe the actions it's taking as being protective.
Amazon is placing a 72-hour moratorium on reviews after new shows debut. The company says the change was made in order to minimize offensive spam reviews and to authenticate the comments are from actual viewers. But many see the move as a way to shield the company from the deluge of negative reviews following the premiere of The Rings of Power. Tasha Stevens reporting.
More of these stories at srnnews.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
The following program is sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. Get ready with your legal questions and call Patrick now. 877-943-9673. Again, that's 877-943-9673. The law office is open. And now your host, Patrick Smith.
Oh, hi there, and welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith, and we are live. Today is Saturday, September 3rd, and that music means one thing only. College football is back. And you can give us a call now, 877-943-9673. We are live and in studio. We're here to answer any and all legal questions today. 877-943-9673 for those of you new to the program. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith. I'm your local Central Florida attorney, and I'm here to help any way I can every Saturday morning. 877-943-9673. And because college football is upon us, I thought appropriate topic for today would be to talk about the recent controversy in the Sunshine State regarding sports gambling. That's right. So recently, there's been a lot of drama in light of the gambling compact struck between Governor DeSantis and the Seminole Nation. So to give you a little background on this, according to FloridaPolitics.com, Congress passed the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, and this was kind of in response to a 1987 Supreme Court case, which was California versus Cabazon Band of Mission Indians. And this case stands for the proposition that states lack the authority to prohibit gambling on Indian reservations. The law provides a framework for states and tribes to negotiate terms for tribal gambling operations. In Florida, the result of these negotiations I alluded earlier are called gambling compacts. Now, there's a follow-up case to that Supreme Court case as recent as June of this year, which is Isleta del Sur Pueblo versus Texas, basically stands for the same proposition. So Governor DeSantis and the tribe chair, Marcellus Osceola Jr., signed Florida's deal in April 2021, ending a years-long disagreement over the status of gambling in the state and allowing the resumption of payments of the state's share of betting proceeds. The legislature subsequently approved the compact, and Interior Secretary Deb Haaland allowed it to take effect. The tribe briefly offered sports betting before the courts forced it to stop. The compact's terms, by the way, were reportedly for a term of 5 years and a value of $2.5 billion. So we'll get into more history and kind of what's going on there and what's the current status of this Supreme Court or this court case regarding sports gambling in Florida. But maybe you have a thought. Should sports gambling be legal in the state of Florida. So your opinion matters. Call in now with your thoughts on sports gambling or any other legal question. 877-943-9673. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, and we're encouraging you to call in now. Open studio lines. We'll get you and your question right on the air. 877-943-9673. You can also email your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. And you can always submit your questions directly through the website, attorneypatricksmith.com. So again, we'd love to hear from you today, 877-943-9673. All right, let's go to our first caller of the day. Let's go to Patricia in Lakewood Ranch. Patricia, how are you this morning?
I am good, thank you, Patrick. I am Patricia with the shower problem.
Yes, Patricia, you're there. How can I help you?
I have heard nothing from the company other than my son-in-law sent an email to the CEO of the company. I did get a call from a customer service person who gave me 3 phone numbers to call. I called each one of them. They do not deal with the shower division. So I'm right back where I started from. And I guess I've kind of decided I'm just going to sit and wait and see what they do. I mean, I don't know whether they're just ignoring me, but I owe them quite a bit of money, or what's going on. I'm just at a total loss.
Well, I remember where we left off the last conversation, and you were going to sort of pick of bringing in an attorney to represent you at this point, since you had sort of gotten a non-response. Where are you on that? Have you hired counsel?
No, I haven't. This is down in Fort Lauderdale, and I did want to come. You were in the Sarasota office last Tuesday, and I really wanted to come down there and meet you, and I wasn't able to make it down. And I guess my other thought is to go to your Sarasota office and have you write a letter written to them, or and of course on this correct.
I've got good news for you, Patricia. That last Tuesday in Sarasota was not my last Tuesday in Sarasota. I'm going to be there next Tuesday as well. So yeah, actually those are my first appointments back from the holiday week, because of course the office is closed Monday for Labor Day. So I will be in the Sarasota office on Tuesday, and I'm there usually on Tuesdays. So you can always give the office a call, and we'll be happy to sit down and meet with you, talk about crafting some sort of letter, and see if that can possibly shake some communication free. And you're right. I mean, you do have the beauty and the time option available. So you can say, I'll sit back and wait and see. I mean, you can make this more of a war of attrition and sort of see how long it'll go on. And that's completely your prerogative. And here's the nice thing about that, Patricia. Guess what it cost you to wait?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's free. So that, I mean, it's an option, and it's one to weigh and say, do we want to just sit back and see what they do? And maybe that's worthwhile. And if it's what gives you peace of mind, I have no problem with that. I think it might be a wise approach to sort of see if they make the first move.
Yeah, because I mean, I did find out, I didn't know if I would be notified if a lien was put on my property. However, we did call the city, and they said a letter would have to be sent to us notifying us that the lien would be placed in 30 days. Now, is this correct?
Is it your homestead property?
No, it is not homestead property.
So this is a second home.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they placed a lien on it, you would be noticed, and you would be given the opportunity to object to the lien.
Yeah, because I mean, that's my one fear, that I would have a lien placed on and I wouldn't know it. But knowing that gives me, I shouldn't say peace of mind, because it isn't peace of mind, but knowing that, okay, if they did go that way, then I would definitely contact, an attorney to work with me on it.
Yeah, that's a good general rule for everyone out there listening right now, and the listening audience. If you have a lien placed against any of your properties, contact your attorney immediately, because there are time-sensitive windows for filing objections to those liens. Now, if it's your homestead property, remember you have the state constitutional provision under Article 10, Section 4, protecting it from all but 2 exemptions, and that's property taxes and mechanics liens. So, but if you have a lien filed against your property, any type of property, you want to contact your attorney immediately, Patricia. But I kind of like your strategy of being patient and sort of, in the art of negotiation, it's the first person that speaks that loses generally. So if you want to sit and wait and see if they'll speak first, go for it. Just sort of give them the silent treatment and see if they say something. If they do, then maybe that gives you a little more upper hand to reach a successful negotiation.
Yeah, because I was saying, I filed with all the copies of emails I've sent and of the letters that I've sent with the return receipts for the certified letters. So I fortunately kept a log when I realized that I was running into problems.
Well, Patricia, only because, we've talked about it many times on the show, and I appreciate you calling in so regularly to kind of keep everyone updated on where the case is, because I think you got fans out there at this point. I think you got people cheering for you on this shower deal, hoping that it gets resolved. So at the end of the day, I have no doubt that your records are meticulous and detailed, and if they become something that's going to need to be used for evidence, I have no doubt that they'll be glittering examples of what excellent evidence looks like. But at the end of the day, I think you're at the point where that's your decision to make. Do we want to move forward with that sort of, discovery and evidentiary reconnaissance, or do we want to just sit back and wait? And that's a completely Patricia decision.
Well, the other day I was watching one of the morning shows on TV, and they were talking about if you have a consumer problem and they aren't helping or returning calls, that you can put something on Facebook or Twitter. They suggested Facebook over Twitter. And that might get them moving, but I'm a little leery about doing that.
Well, you want to be careful that you don't publish something defamatory. So you just want to make sure that you're telling the truth and sort of the whole truth. And that's, you're allowed to leave a customer review, but it's got to be truthful. And I would think you want to make sure that maybe if you feel like it might be flirting with being defamatory, maybe run it by an attorney before you publish it, because sometimes that's a bell you can't unring, Patricia. But anyway, if you decide you want to move forward, we'll be in Sarasota. You can give the office a call. I'll give out the office number here later in the show, and we'll look forward to meeting you in person, Patricia.
Yeah. Now, we went online, and your address for the Sarasota office is not in your information. Is it now?
It should be updated. They are still tweaking some updates to the website, and I think that is one of them, since the Sarasota is one of the newer offices. But when you call the office, they will give you the address and make sure you know where you're going, okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You've given me peace of mind many times.
Well,
Thank
Patricia,
you.
That's what we're here for, and you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, okay?
And happy holiday to you.
Happy
Thank
holiday.
you.
Thank you. All right, 877-943-9673. That's your number to be part of the show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. Call in with your legal questions now. 877-943-9673, or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go to the Empire State and let's talk to Joe. Joe, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hey, I'm calling. My father passed away about 3 months ago. My sister had a credit card that was in his name but her name. She ran up over $100,000 in credit card bills. There was no limit on the card. There's no assets as far as my dad is concerned, but I'm getting all these letters in the mail. I'm the executor. Am I on the hook for this? How does this happen?
Joe, do you, first of all, I love that you're calling from New York. How are you listening to the show right now all the way in New York?
I listen on the phone.
Okay, great. So you're listening on 102.5. We appreciate that. Are you currently represented by an attorney? You said you're serving as the executor for your father's estate. So do you have counsel?
Yes. No. There's no attorney involved at all.
Okay, so you're pro se at this point, unrepresented by counsel, and your father was a Florida resident, correct?
Yes.
So the short answer is you're not personally liable for any of your father's debts out of the gate. So ab initio, it's a situation where you don't have any personal exposure to father's debts. What is exposed to your father's debts are his estate assets. And in that probate process, there's a notice to creditor publication that's required if the decedent has died in less than 2 years. So if it's been less than 2 years since their date of death, you're required to publish what we call a notice to creditors. And that notice is published in the paper, and it's a way to put creditors on notice that if they have a claim against a decedent, they need to file it with the court. If they file that claim with the court, that will give you notice, and then you will have 30 days to object to their claim. If you object within that 30-day window, Joe, that's going to put the burden back on the creditor to do one of two things. Number one, either go away empty-handed if they do nothing, or they can file a lawsuit against you if it's worth it to them. Now, if it's a valid creditor claim and one that you let stand and you don't object, so it's an outstanding medical bill that you know is valid, that's pretty high in the priority, especially if it's a medical bill within the last 60 days of your father's life. Your question specifically is about credit cards. Now, in our hierarchy of creditors under Florida Probate Code, there's 8 classes. Credit cards are dead last, so they're lowest paid. So the odds of a credit card company getting paid are slim, and they're certainly less than most creditors because of that ranking under the statute. So I think as long as you publish a notice to creditors and notice everyone accordingly, if they don't file a claim, then I don't think the estate would even be on the hook for it. But your personal exposure would only come into play, I think, if you don't publish a notice, don't notify creditors, and then you start distributing estate assets around valid creditors. I think that could expose Joe to some personal liability.
I thank you. I appreciate the advice.
All right, Joe, you got any favorite college football team you cheer for?
FSU on the bone.
FSU on the bone. So you guys play Monday, right?
I believe so.
All right, what's the prediction? You guys, what's the score going to be on Monday's game?
I'm going to say 10-3.
10-3. So you think it's going to be a defensive battle?
I think so.
All right. Well, we'll see if you're right, Joe. All right. We appreciate you calling in.
Have a good day.
No, you too. All righty. 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. 877-943-9673. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. And today we are discussing sports gambling in Florida in light of the fact that it is really the big kickoff weekend for college football. I know last week they did this week 0 thing that didn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, all the great games are starting today. And of course, my Florida Gators will be playing tonight. So very excited about that. 877-943-9673. Picking up on our conversation regarding sports gambling. And if you have an opinion on it, whether it should be legal, should not be legal in Florida, call in with your thoughts in addition to your legal questions this morning. So the situation regarding sports gambling in Florida is playing out in Washington, D.C. currently, where the District of Columbia Judge Dabney Friedrich actually struck down the deal that Governor DeSantis and the Seminole Tribe entered into. And this was on November 23rd. And then there was a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals of D.C., and they refused earlier to interfere. So the case is back at the D.C. Circuit Court for a ruling on the merits. The U.S. Department of the Interior filed its own brief just recently, August 17th, asking the appeals court to overturn Judge Friedrich's ruling, which held the deal violated the Federal Indian Gaming Regulatory Act on the ground that some sports bets would transpire off the Seminole Tribe's land in Broward County. But the Seminole Compact doesn't speak to gambling off tribal lands. The federal brief argues it merely authorizes typical casino gaming like roulette, craps, blackjack, and slot machines on Seminole land. The negotiators left the sports betting component to a state law. For those of you who want to read the bill, it's SB Senate Bill 2A, and you can check it out for yourself at flsenate.gov. So it's Senate Bill 2A at flsenate.gov. And this was passed by the Florida legislature, and you can actually see that piece of legislation is what authorized sports gambling. So it wasn't actually done under the gambling compact negotiated between Governor DeSantis and the Seminole Tribe, but it was done sort of contemporaneously. So the state is allowed to authorize sports gambling under the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. So that's the contested point here. the gambling compact is one thing, and then this state law is separate, although the timing was, like I said, contemporaneous. So these things are sort of getting blended together. But what you ultimately see here is this is coming down to what authority does the state have? Now, we know because of the Supreme Court, they said that states don't have the authority to restrict Native American tribes from sports gambling on their reservations. But does a state have the right to authorize sports gambling? So maybe you have thoughts on that. All right, we're going to go to Gene in Port Charlotte. Gene, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hey, how you doing? I'm just calling to let you guys know I drive school bus for Charlotte County, Florida, and I do a little bit of sports betting. And I'll tell you one thing right now, that it's a fair game, so it's a fair bet. A fair game means a fair bet. Means absolutely we should be allowed to wager.
So what I put
That's
you
all,
in
that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, bud. I just wanted to call in to let you know. A fair game means a fair bet. Absolutely, sports gaming should continue in all the state of Florida.
Well, Gene, I'll put you in that column. How long you been driving a school bus for Port Charlotte?
15 years.
Wow. That's terrific.
15 years.
Thank you for your service and for keeping all the kiddos safe.
Hey, you have a good one. Take care of yourself.
You too, Gene. Have a great day. All righty, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, 877-943-9673. Do you agree with Gene? Gene says, yes, sports gambling in Florida, that should be permitted. It's fair game for everyone, so you can either do it or not do it. But Gene says you should have that option. Do you agree with Gene? 877-943-9673. Give us a call now, 877-943-9673, or email me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. All right, let's go back to Port Charlotte. Let's talk to Henry. Henry, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hey, good morning, Patrick.
Good morning. I'm great, Henry. How are you? You got any hot picks for this weekend's games?
No, the whole sports gambling thing, so much of it's online anymore. You can pretty much bet anything you want online. So I'm not sure what, in-person sports gambling. I mean, that's fine in Florida, but there's so many other ways to do it now. We don't really, I don't see the need to do it, but.
Okay, but let me tell you a story. All right, so I had a buddy. I won't say his name because I don't have his permission to mention his name over the air, but he's probably listening right now. So I will say this. He came to me a few years ago, and he said, I want to place a bet on the Florida-Tennessee game. And I said, cool. I don't know how to do that. I don't really gamble, so I don't know anything about it. He goes, well, we can place the bet, but I want to actually go to Las Vegas to place the bet. So the game plan was we're going to fly to Las Vegas so that he can place a bet on the Florida-Tennessee game. All right. So we do that because he wants this rush of sitting at, like Caesars Sportsbook, watching his bet kind of unfold before them. So I guess maybe it's a gambling thing, like that rush of sort of sitting there. And it is sort of a cool, have you ever been to one of the sports banks out in, or sports books out in Vegas?
No, but I'm originally from Pennsylvania, and we had OTBs up there.
So you get it. Yeah, so you understand. I think it's just a different rush as opposed to going online and placing a bet there. I think it just has a different feel. Also, some of the documentaries kind of say that there's like a community almost at these sports books. So
right,
I think,
that's what I was going to say. You have a bunch of other people that have the same kind of vested interest in you. So everybody's cheering, and you just kind of get caught up in the whole atmosphere then too.
Yeah, I think that's where the addiction comes in. It's the adrenaline rush. But Henry, you're calling in to talk about something else, so I'll turn the floor over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hey, I'm a gig driver down here in Port Charlotte. I do Uber and I do some other deliveries. A lot of times we go into gated communities where you have to present your identity, and more and more of these communities, it's becoming automated. There's not a person there that just looks at your ID. You're actually you're surrendering your driver's license, putting it into a scanner, and then all the data from there is being accumulated and sent somewhere. What expectation of privacy and what expectation of protection of that treasure trove of data that I'm surrendering to that company, what can I expect to be protected on my end?
Well, I mean, ultimately, the solution for this is going to come through the state legislature. They're going to have to pass a law regulating the release of private information for ingress, egress into private communities. You're right. Currently, right now, what is ruling the day is resident safety. And because that is the pole star of the current legislation, you're going to have to give up a little privacy if you want to get into that community. It's just the way the law currently works until it changes. Now, it changes by guys like you writing their state senators and their state representatives and saying, I don't mind giving up my ID or letting people know I have a valid ID or who I am, but I'm not comfortable with this en masse full release of all my private information. So I think you start there.
Okay. All right. Sounds reasonable. Thank you.
All right, Henry, good luck to you. And if you get some legislation going, let me know. I would love to track something like that, because those sort of privacy cases, I think that's all going to start to snowball. And we talked a little bit about it when Roe versus Wade was overturned. We're in the middle of the early stages of a constitutional amendment to establish a constitutional right to privacy in a formal amendment to the U.S. Constitution. And I think it's your type of small cases that are going to sort of crescendo into that big movement.
Well, and every day, more and more we hear about data breaches and, I just got a message this morning. I guess the IRS had released some private citizens' data mistakenly, or it had, their database had been compromised. So, every day it just gets worse and worse.
Well, okay. So I have mixed emotions about that. And I think that, those things do happen and it's terrible, and at the risk of annoying or angering an entire industry, I think that the media in general knows that bad news gets your attention. So I think that when you hear those sorts of things, just remember, I mean, it sounds like a big deal because you're being told it's a big deal. And it's not that it's unimportant, but remember, the source is trying to get your attention. So I wouldn't let it ruin my day, but you're right. Privacy is a big concern. It's definitely a growing concern. I mean, I see it at the law office daily with people asking more and more questions about how to protect their privacy. So this is a building movement in the country right now, and it's ultimately going to result in, I think, multiple pieces of legislation, both at the state and the federal level, to address this sort of privacy wave that's getting ready to overtake the nation.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Patrick. Have a great weekend.
Henry, you too. Have a great holiday weekend. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
All right. 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. 877-943-9673. So I'm waiting for a gambler, someone who is an active gambler who gambles on a regular basis, who knows all those cool phrases like betting money line and things like that, and just all the phraseology and the vernacular that goes with it. So to call in and give your opinion on it and kind of talk what we were talking about with Henry there about that rush and going to a sports book and things like that. So if you have a thought on sports gambling or any other legal question, 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. Before we go to Jason, just to recap, what we've been talking about is the gambling compact that Governor DeSantis negotiated with the Seminole Tribe of Florida that's currently in limbo because of federal litigation regarding that gambling compact potentially violating the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, and the governor's position, of course, being that that does not violate the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act because it didn't authorize sports gambling. Sports gambling was authorized in a separate piece of Florida legislation that had nothing to do with the gambling compact directly, and states are permitted to authorize sports gambling per the proponents of this gambling compact and piece of legislation. So 877-943-9673. Let's go to Jason and Brandon. Jason, thank you for your patience. How can we help you today?
Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm great, Jason. Do you have any picks on games this weekend?
OU all the way.
OU, so you're a Boomer Sooner.
Oh, yeah, born and raised.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. My question has to do with a personal injury. While at work, I was helping out doing a violations department for the HOA in which I work in.
Mm-hmm.
And while out checking on these violations, one of the residents got upset, pulled up, blocked me and my boss in, and then got out of the truck. And when I got out to take a picture, I was sucker punched to where my nose has been broken in 2 spots, a deviated septum or dislocated septum. And I'm just trying to figure out what legal repercussions can I take against it, because I wouldn't file an injunction because I couldn't file a restraining order and he was not arrested.
Wow. So
yes, sir.
we did a show a few shows back, probably a month or so ago now, on homeowners associations. This is exactly the kind of call I was looking for during that show, because this is, well, I mean, you know, you see it. These are, you're a person out there doing your job for the homeowners association, and you probably had a legitimate reason for making the approach to this resident in the community. Do you mind sharing what was the reason you guys were going to the home?
Here's the sad part about it, sir. I wasn't even looking at his house. We weren't in front of his house. We were actually 3 or 4 houses down from his. And because he is a past person with multiple violations, he thought we were getting his house violation.
So he's not even the subject of your. He goes out
Correct.
of his way, and you said that he actually blocked you in, physically blocked the truck so you guys could not leave?
Correct. Well, when he pulled up, it was a little 2-lane little residential woman coming, woman going inside the housing development. And as I'm trying to clear out one of the violations in the system, he comes coming at us with his truck and slaps mirrors, driver's side mirror with his driver's side mirror, and is so close to the truck, the driver's side door cannot open.
Okay.
I was on the passenger side.
Well,
so when I got out to take a picture, he pulled forward, got out of his truck, and came to me and blocked me in the door. When I went to the other side to get away from him, I was like, look, don't touch me. If you touch me, I'm going to sue you. I'm not going to fight back. I'm not going to hit you. I'm just here doing my job. Followed me, and then when I turned around, sucker punched me twice.
Wow. Well, we've been talking sports gambling this morning, and if you violate Florida Statute 849, it's actually a second-degree misdemeanor. So it's low on the hierarchy of violations. What he did by blocking you in, if that gets construed as false imprisonment, Jason, that's a felony. So there may have been a crime committed there. And that may be something the police want to investigate besides the assault that occurred. I mean, that clearly a criminal act, assault and battery. At the end of the day,
that got me. They listed it as just a simple battery because I was there. My nose was broken. I mean, there's blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 witnesses who were in the vehicle with me, my boss and my coworker. And even with all the damages, they took pictures with the witness statements, and nobody arrested the guy. He went home. He's still not arrested. And besides that, 2 days later, while I'm at work, because he lives in the same HOA in which I work, he showed up to the community building screaming and yelling about me.
So it's a situation where you're going to need an attorney. I agree. Exploring with a personal injury attorney, the personal injury or civil side of it, probably worthwhile. I'll give out the office number here when we hang up, Jason. So have a pen and paper handy, and you can call me at the office next week. I'll be in the office on Tuesday, and I'll put you in touch with a great personal injury attorney who can give you a full analysis on that as far as the case. But you may also want to consult directly with a civil litigation attorney regarding doing something called a direct filing with the state attorney's office. So you can actually ask the state attorney to file criminal charges yourself based on your facts. Typically, you would enlist the services of private counsel for that, and that's if law enforcement doesn't have sufficient evidence to present to the state attorney on your behalf. This is a little-known route that you can go directly to the state attorney's office and ask for criminal charges to be brought against a party.
Yes, I went down to the county clerk's office or civil clerk's office down yesterday to file the injunction because they wouldn't give me a restraining order. So I filed an injunction of protection.
Mm-hmm.
And then at some point, I'm sure either last night or this morning, they're going to serve this gentleman with his paperwork.
Yeah. And again, that's all on the civil side. So I'm talking about more exploring the criminal side. and seeing if I mean, if you're going to fire with both barrels, that's a metaphor, not literal, Jason. So I don't want you to get any ideas.
Yes,
But yeah, I'm just saying, I think you're doing a great job focusing on the civil side, but I would at least explore that criminal side, because it sounds like there was definitely at least one crime committed, and there may have been more crimes committed. And especially if they investigate and establish that false imprisonment and can get that to stick, that's a felony. So I mean, that's a pretty big deal. So I would, I would have a civil litigation attorney, and I could put you in touch with one of those as well. Take a look at, those statutes and the facts and see how it matches up. And maybe it's just something you do a direct filing through your attorney with the state attorney's office.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, Jason. So
Yes, sir.
good luck this weekend, and enjoy all the college football games. Okay.
Yes, sir. You
All
too.
right. All right, you're listening to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. I'm your host, Attorney Patrick Smith. 877-943-9673. 877-943-9673. We have open studio lines, so we'll get you and your call right on the air. You can call in now with your legal questions or your thoughts on sports gambling. We've been talking about sort of the pros and cons of sports gambling this morning, and we've discussed sort of the different gambling compact aspect of it versus the state legislation authorizing sports gaming, and kind of how those two are being intertwined because of the timing, but they're really two different pieces of legislation. And there's actually another component that kind of comes into the mix here, and it's Florida Amendment 3. This was Amendment 3 from 2018, and it was Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody's team that actually made a point of this and said Amendment 3 to the Florida Constitution requires submitting the compact, the gambling compact, to approval by the voters. And anti-gaming organizations called No Casino have raised that argument, but state lawyers insist that measures doesn't apply because the casino games arguably would happen on Indian land, even if remotely via hub and spoke. So you sort of see it saying that, well, it's still connected to the Indian land, even if it's not directly happening on Indian land. So the organization No Casinos promoted Amendment 3, but is not a party to the case. You see a lot of these amicus briefs getting filed in this case. Amicus brief, of course, that literally means friend of the court, but it's a brief filed by a party that's got an interest in the case, or by a group that's got an interest in a case, but is not a direct party to that case. And it does require court approval to get that. So you see a lot of the players coming out, the Seminole Tribe and these groups like No Casino coming out to file these briefs because they all have stakes at play here in this potential litigation and situation. I mean, like I said, it's a $2.5 billion deal. When the numbers get that big, people get very interested, and you're going to see a lot of amicus briefs on something like that. 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. 877-943-9673. I'm your local Central Florida attorney, Patrick Smith. And this is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, where you can call in every Saturday morning with your legal questions, 877-943-9673, or you can email me your question, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com. You can email that question directly to me, patrick@attorneypatricksmith.com, or submit it through the website, attorneypatricksmith.com. I promised Jason and some others the office line. Let me do that now for any of the office locations. So for Patricia, who wants to meet in our Sarasota office, well, one of our newest offices, or any of our other offices, the office in Sun City Center, Clearwater, or any of our Lake County offices, it's one toll-free number to schedule your complimentary appointment with me, 877-754-6764. Again, that toll-free number to call the office, 877-754-6764. You're welcome to call now. No one's in the office, but you can always leave your name and number, and they will get back with you on Tuesday. So, by the way, if you call Monday, the office is closed Monday for the Labor Day holiday, but you can call and leave your name and number, and my friendly and helpful staff will be happy to reach out to you and get you on the calendar. Again, that toll-free number to schedule your complimentary consultation with yours truly, Attorney Patrick Smith, 877-754-6764. 877-754-6764. But we want to hear from you today, and we want to hear from you regarding your legal questions or your opinions on sports gambling. Again, that number to call in, open studio lines, it's 877-943-9673. Again, that toll-free number, 877-943-9673. All right, let's go to Sarasota and let's talk to George. George, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. How can we help you today?
Hey, thanks, Patrick. How you doing today?
I'm great, George. How's everything in Sarasota?
Beautiful. Just heading to work and trying to figure something out for a jury summons.
Uh-oh. Tell me about it, George.
Yeah, is right. So, going to be leaving the country on the 29th of this month, but I just in the mail yesterday got a jury summons for the 27th. So I've already got the trip planned, got all tickets, hotels, everything, and now I get this. So I'm wondering if I do show up for the summons and I get jury selected, what can I do? What kind of, not so much hardship, but what can I do?
You don't happen to be a practicing attorney, are you, George?
I do not. I am not.
Okay. I was going to say, because so when I was living over in Lake County, I actually got a jury summons. And I guess Lake County, I don't know if every county is the same, but when they send out a jury summons, they go ahead and put on the card. If you're there's like these three things. And one of them, I think it was like, if you're like an expecting mother in the last trimester or something like that. But one of the boxes was, if you're a practicing attorney, just go ahead and check this box and mail it back. And basically they excuse you that way. So I was thinking that would be an easy out if you were a practicing attorney. But you said
that would be nice.
You said this is for a summons for when?
September 27th.
Yeah, that's like
out of the country on the 29th.
That's like 3 weeks away. That's not enough time to get a law license or a law degree. So, I mean, you're going to need a skosh longer than that. So that option's out the window. Yeah, I think you're going to have to go. I mean, you can call up to the clerk of the court and ask to speak to the clerk about it directly and see if there's some sort of excusal. But I say be there. Some counties are going to, and I learned this recently when my wife was served with a jury summons. Some counties are going to Twitter now. Did you know this, George? That there's a Twitter feed where you can check your juror number, and they'll tell you if you've been excused or if you need to report. And this was fascinating to me. First of all, that it's on Twitter, like that, of all the ways to communicate. But apparently, you may be able to track and find out. But if you don't get something in writing saying that you've been excused, show up. Now, if you miss that, and odds are if you miss one time, you're probably going to get some sort of nasty gram saying, hey, you missed it. You better be at the next one. But theoretically, I believe if you miss that summons, I think the judge may have authority to issue a bench warrant, and you definitely don't want to have to deal with that. So,
yeah, be in contempt of court.
Yeah. So I think you show up. The odds of you actually serving are slim to none, George, just based on statistics. But you're right. It can be a waste of a day to show up and then find out you've been excused. But my guess would be, and George, call us back. Let us know what happens, because I'm kind of curious. My guess would be, if I was a betting man, that you're going to get excused before you actually have to show up. It'll be some sort of notice or something in the mail or via Twitter. Does Sarasota, do they offer the Twitter feed, or how did they tell you to check on your status?
So I think the day before at 5 p.m., you call to find out if you are definitely going to show up, because I've had this happen before where I was excused, a later juror number.
Yeah.
So hopefully the same thing's going to happen. I guess my main worry is if I go and they accept me, I can't get out of it. I've already, I'd have to completely blow a trip off my family, which.
Well, I mean, depending on the type of case that it is, you may get excused. I mean, they get so many jurors that they can excuse. And I think that's, something that could. Have you ever worked in a legal field, or if you've ever worked in the legal field, or if you've ever been associated with the type of case that's going to be before you for the trial, you're probably going to get excused. But yeah, I hear the anxiety in your voice, and I would have the same anxiety, because what if I get picked? What if this is the one time and I've got this trip out of the country? Where are you going, by the way?
Holland.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Is this your first time going to Holland?
The UK, yeah. I'm going to be running a marathon, so it's interesting.
Well, we'll see what the judge has to say about that. But no, I'm just kidding. No, listen, I think the odds of you serving are slim to none, but it's a fair concern. I'd reach out directly to the clerk, explain the position. But unless you get something in writing saying you're excused, show up, George. That's my advice.
I appreciate it, Patrick. Thank you.
All righty, George. Have a great weekend. Hey, any picks for this weekend's college games? You got any favorite teams or predictions?
Nothing. Just wife went to South Florida, so hopefully they'll kind of right the ship, you know.
All right, go Bulls. All righty, George. Have a great Saturday, okay?
You too.
All right, bye-bye. All righty, 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. I'm live and local. Attorney Patrick Smith. This is the Attorney Patrick Smith Show, and we're here to help every Saturday. Call in now with your legal question, 877-943-9673. So today we've been talking about sports gambling. We've talked about gambling compacts, state legislation, Senate Bill 2A, which you can check out directly for yourself at flsenate.gov if you want to go. And I find a lot of our listeners love looking up the statutes and the cases that we reference because there's a lot of detail-oriented people in our listening audience here at the Attorney Patrick Smith Show. So that's why I go through the time and effort to mention that, because I get so much feedback saying, hey, we really enjoy reading these primary sources, the cases and the statutes that you're referencing. And today speaking of a primary source, we're talking about Amendment 3 from the 2018 Constitutional Amendment requiring voter ratification on the Gambling Compact. And we talked about Florida Statute 849, our statute on gambling in the state of Florida. And I fell down that rabbit hole in my show prep. And there's an exception in the statute for bowling. And if you've ever stayed at like a mom and pop kind of hotel place, they often have like a private set of rules. And if you read those rules, they're actually like telling you a story. And there will be a rule like, it's prohibited here to run down the hallway with a goat from 3 to 4 a.m. You know there's a story behind that rule. It's kind of like this in the statute. Why was bowling carved out? Yeah, bowling was carved out of the gambling statute. And I'm just sitting there scratching my head, and maybe there were a lot of bowlers in the legislature. I don't know. But if you're out there and you know the origin story on why bowling is carved out under our gambling statute, Florida Statute 849, I'd love to hear it. So 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. Give us a call now. I'm Attorney Patrick Smith. Let's go to Stella in Manatee. Stella, welcome to the Attorney Patrick Smith Show.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Stella. How can we help you today?
Hi, actually, I just was listening to the last segment with George and his jury summons, and he's got vacation plans.
Yes, ma'am. You got something to add?
Yeah, I had a recent experience with that, and I got summoned here in Manatee County. And I went to the court clerk. I called, and they said you could come down to the courthouse and talk to the clerk. And she was able to assign me a different date. I explained that I had a trip planned. And she said, okay, we'll send you another summons, and I'm going to give you a low number. And just so you know, you've got a better chance of getting selected. And so they did that, and it turns out I wasn't even chosen for the second go-around. But there was the caveat that the second time there was no getting out of that. So that was the only thing, you have to commit.
Stella, that doesn't surprise me at all, because I think as a matter of public policy, most county clerks want to encourage communication. So when a citizen reaches out to you to say, hey, I've got this problem, the last thing they want to do is be non-communicative. They want to encourage and reward that sort of behavior, because that's what they're looking for, is for people who are willing to work with them. So if someone reaches out and says, hey, I got a problem, I think most county clerks are going to be willing to work with you in some way. But the anxiety in George's voice was, what if they're not? I've got this trip planned. I've got tickets booked. I'm running this marathon. And you just sort of that basal ganglia, the bad part of your brain, just starts thinking all those bad thoughts. So, Stella, I got to let you go. I got to wrap up the show, but great point. Okay. I appreciate you calling in. Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Have a great day, and good luck to George.
All right. Yeah. Good luck to George, especially in the marathon too. That's a big deal. 877-943-9673, 877-943-9673. That'll be your number for next week. And so to end today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about my Florida Gators, because they play tonight. So for my Gators, I've got high hopes this season. All the hype about Coach Napier, really pumped about it. Think that he's going to be a great, fantastic addition. But the proof will be in the pudding. And tonight's their first challenge. It's against ranked Utah number 7, who's actually favored by a field goal. I'm not buying that. I got Florida in this one big. Florida 42, Utah 10. Florida 42, Utah 10. I'm calling it here first. Big win in the swamp at night. There's nothing like that. That's a lot of pressure. And one other thing before I go, I wanted to wish a very happy 50th wedding anniversary to my parents, who I know are listening now, because one of the gifts I gave them helped assist with them listening and watching the show. So we celebrated yesterday their actual anniversary. But again, happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. I love you guys. Congratulations on 50 years. This is Attorney Patrick Smith signing off, saying God bless, stay safe, and go Gators.
The proceeding was sponsored by the law offices of Patrick L. Smith. W282CI Tampa, W271CY Lakeland, W262CP Bayonet Point.
Online at letstalkfaith.com or listen on TuneIn and Odyssey.
Coming together each day for encouragement.
Whenever we're in the car, we have Faith Talk Tampa on the radio. It's always positive and family friendly.
Hey, I'm Dave Straub with your favorite shows, weekday mornings. Focus on the family.
Dr. Charles Stanley on In Touch. Pathway to Victory with Dr. Robert Jeffress.
And I'm Bill Bunkley with a local and biblical perspective weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
We're Faith Talk Tampa, offering strength between Sundays on the radio, on our Faith Talk Tampa app for your phone, and online at letstalkfaith.com.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consult.